Things I've done this year, the practices I've put in place that I felt God was embedding into my heart from even last year, and some of the effects that have come out of implementation of these strategies. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is an exciting topic and I can't wait to jump right into it with you. Today I'll be sharing with you how I have spent the first quarter of this year 2023, so January up until March, what I have done. And it's going to be a topic on self-care from an introvert's perspective. I'm going to share with you the things I've done this year, the practices I've put in place that I felt God was embedding into my heart from even last year, and some of the effects that have come out of implementation of these strategies. I'll just start with talking about self-care from a holistic point of view. It definitely stems from self-development. If you're someone who you're still in the early stages of your life, I'm very aware that so many young people tune into my channel. Those of you that are in your 20s, I'm really excited that you're here. My intention is for you to learn some of the lessons that I have picked up, and hopefully you won't have to make those mistakes in your life. Having said that, self-care is something that comes from self-development, and self-development is a process of you getting to know yourself and developing yourself and knowing the things that make you tick as a person. Just at the very tail end of 2022, I started my soul searching moment where I dig deep and I spend time with God, asking, what are your plans for me for 2023? What do you want me to prioritize over others? What is the focus? From 2022, I got this very strong feeling that I needed to put myself first. And so the word for me was to put myself first in 2023. As someone who loves to help others and support people and care for people, and when you're in a relationship where you are constantly caring for various people, being there for them, it can be hard for you to look inwardly and care for yourself. On that journey of self-development I did from my 20s up until now, I'm still doing that. It's a lot easier for me now to recognize when someone is pushing back, which might come from a negative place or them feeling that you are now giving more time to yourself. I just want to say something, a caveat is that most people who are healthy would not have that response, and I say that from a very good place. So people who have healthy relationships, who know who they are, have found themselves and know how to set boundaries, would respect your decision and they would cheer you on that. But most people who don't know themselves and haven't found out who they are and are probably manipulative, and they will push back. So you need to be aware of that when you start going into your self-care routines, that there will be some form of pushback, and just guarding yourself, that will be expected. I may go into this a little bit more in the video just to talk about how this can materialize itself. It's imperative that I have a structured way of doing things, otherwise I won't get most of the things that I have to do done. The intention is that I write my task list for the week and I go through that every day and tick things off as I go along. However, this year I've focused on that slightly differently, that instead of letting my list dictate for me what I need to do, I let my body tell me how I should respond. As an example of that is, I have a list of things to do, let's say 5 things that needs to be done in a day. I will wake up, I will spend time with myself, with God, and then I will see how does my body respond to doing things today. If it's a day where I feel energetic and strong and able to do more, then I may take some task from the day before or the next day and I'll incorporate it into the one day. I'm very conscious not to overload myself as well, and so what I try to do is just respond as my body is speaking to me during the day. So staying in tune with my body, what is it saying, how am I responding to things, am I at my optimum level, and if my body feels that I need to stop, I do stop. But one thing I've incorporated this year is rest. I have started to spend more time resting. Rest is an area that I'm very conscious off because I needed to be my optimum self. Over the last couple of years, due to various factors, I've not been able to achieve a systematic sleep pattern. This year, that has changed and my sleep pattern has come back to its optimum level, and it was a conscious decision by me. Before, I used to go to bed about 10:30. Rather than doing that, I started going to bed when my body feels like it wants to sleep, and I noticed that my body tends to want to sleep around 8 o'clock or 8:30 in the evening, and I would wake up around about 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. But sometimes I let my body dictate that, as well as, of course, I have to work. I have a specific time that I need to wake up to go to work. I'm a morning person. I'm most efficient in the morning, early afternoon, and later part of the day. In the evenings, I'm totally exhausted from the energy that I have, and so the time when I want to unwind, I want to rest, I don't want to be involved in a discussion or an argument or anything that is going to challenge me mentally. I don't want to be involved in that, and when that happens, I am cranky and very unhappy and just not my usual self, because when that time comes, I am supposed to be resting. The second thing I have done this year and I've been implementing is from a book that I've been reading this year, which is called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. I'm going to talk about this book in more detail in another video, but this book by John McCormack talks about how hurry is the worst thing that can ever happen to our lives. I'm not going to go into the detail of hurry here in this video because I'll talk about it in another video, but one of the practices that he started implementing in his life is on Sabbath. Some of you might know what Sabbath means. It's the Jewish rest day. It's usually Friday at 6 p.m. and up until Saturday at 6 p.m. So it's a whole day that they use to rest. And it comes from the Old Testament. After God created the heaven and the earth and all of creation, he rested. And the concept of that, why did God rest? He does not need to rest, but he did it for us to see as an example. Giving ourselves one day to rest. I started implementing this in my life this year, and it has made me productive and very efficient in the things I do. Growing up in my family, we observed the Sabbath and we had a whole day where we rested. I spent the beginning of this year just rehashing my childhood and what we used to do as a family when we were much younger, and I was reminded that one of the things that we enjoyed the most was that we did nothing on the weekends. Our weekends were usually quite free. We will go to church and we'll spend time with family and friends. I set aside one day to have a proper Sabbath where I will not do anything. I will spend time with God, spend time with myself, spend time just lazing about and resting. I started pushing this a bit further. For some weeks where I don't have much to do, I would have a 2-day Sabbath, and I see that I have time to rest and enjoy myself by doing this. And like I said, I'm an introvert. For me, this works perfectly. Another thing I've tried doing during the Sabbath is to actually fast my phone. I'm one of those people that I only use apps that are necessary, but due to the nature of the work that I do and my businesses, it can be quite hard to fast my phone. I noticed that I depend quite a lot on my phone, and fasting it became necessary because I don't want to depend on anything. It's coming from the words of Paul. Paul mentioned that I shall not be enslaved to anything. So it's important that we look at our lives and areas where we are becoming dependent on something and perhaps addiction is brewing, that we radically cut that off, because it's one of those areas where we expose ourselves to negative influences. The third one is having a quiet evening. I try to, during the week, have a quiet evening. I try to round up whatever I'm doing work-wise by 7 p.m. and I try not to do anything related to work whatsoever. I have to say that I have achieved it quite significantly to about 80%. There are those very odd days where it's just not feasible, and I recognize those days and I try to compensate with other days where I'm able to achieve that. But 80% for me is a really good progress, which means that I'll get to a place where I can 100% switch off. And this is also another conscious decision I made this year, where I'm going to make myself free and available. Again, coming from the book, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. Just part of what I've been doing on my soul searching journey and just being by myself is actually looking at what are the areas that I feel that hurry takes over, and one of it is mostly our time. This year I've made a conscious decision to have my time free, which before, if my friends wanted to meet me, I'll probably book something 2 weeks in advance, whereas now I don't have anything booked, and I don't have anything booked for my evenings. I'm relatively free. I can pretty much speak to someone or see someone. I'm available for whatever I am needed to. The fourth point is exercise, the gym, swimming, and having my bath time. All these are my self-care routines. I would not go to the gym because that's what I have to do. I would go to the gym because I am in a state where it is important for me to do that. If I don't want to go to the gym, I can go swimming, I can have a bath in the evening and just unwind, and that's okay for me in this season because mentally and physically I've had quite a number of struggling side to going into this year, and because of those struggles it's been hard for me to keep up with certain routines that I had in place, which is also being kind to myself and being honest to myself that I cannot do the things that I could have done before. Fifth thing that I have incorporated this year, and it's a conscious decision that I have made, is to take retreats and solo trips. I felt very drawn to go away and spend time alone. I did the same in February. I went away on a church conference. In March, I also went away for a weekend for a church retreat, a Bible study retreat. And then in April, I am also going away. By the time this video is up, I may have already gone on that trip, which I will make a video and I'll share with you about my retreat away. I am going away to Wales, a place called Flight in Brennan. I'm going to talk a bit more in another video about this place. It's an amazing retreat center. Retreats are things that I have definitely incorporated this year, and I'll be carrying on doing them. And it's all part of me spending time with myself and spending time with God. Also, solo trips are things that I have incorporated this year and I'll be doing. And I'll be taking my first solo trip probably by the time this video is up. I will be sharing that with you as well. And I'm looking forward to it because I feel that these are things that I need to incorporate into my life this year to make it more enriched for myself, and also to be the best version of myself to everyone around me and to everyone that I need to offer care and assistance to. I mentioned at the beginning of this video that I will talk about the challenges that may come from putting yourself first and caring for yourself, and also the journey that you may have to go through if you're someone who is also thinking about something similar to what I'm doing. I just want you to know that if there are people who are unhealthy, this will be a time when you will see more of that, because I have experienced that when I start to focus more on myself, then I see those who are unhealthy in my life, how they reacted. So I'm speaking from a personal experience because I have gone through that journey. I'm just here to support you in that journey and say, don't give up, just be you, know who you are, and who knows you the best is God. I just want you to be aware that those are the struggles that you can potentially face, and as much as they're challenging, it's part of your self-care journey. I pray for you that you are in a healthy environment and that you don't have to deal with these things and you can just be on your self-care journey and enjoy yourself. But I just thought I would mention that there so you know that your self-care journey will bring positive things to you, but it would also reveal certain characters in your life, and those characters could result in relationship breakdown. But that doesn't mean that it's a terrible thing. It just means that relationship was founded on very shallow grounds. You just need to be aware of that. And again, what was not yours can never be lost. You haven't lost anything if that relationship breaks down, but hopefully by God all things are possible and there is hope for everyone. But we all have to recognize what we need so we can get the help that we need and consistently seek that help, either from people and most especially from God, to help us with the things that are happening. On that good note, I will see you in my next video. Bye now.